Hello and welcome back to Inquiry XX121. Per usual, I will be your host, Bryce. And today I want to dive into the Alien canon, and there's no better place to start than the movie that started it all. That is the 1979 film Alien, directed by Ridley Scott, concept design done by H.R. Giger, and it is, well, at this point, a classic. It was 79. It was some time ago. But it was also a very revolutionary film. It pioneered a number of things. So the first thing I want to talk about is the concept of the movie. The setting is fairly simple. There are essentially space truckers hauling mineral ore from a refinery to Earth, and they are woken up in their stasis pods by the mother computer of the ship, who is simply called Mother, Muthur. And they are told under company contract they are required to investigate a distress signal. And if you're watching this channel, I'm sure you've seen the movie. One of the people gets face hugged, Kane, and thus the first alien on screen is born. So it's a very simple concept. These space truckers just trying to do their job come across this new alien life form, unknown to them. It's this out there thing. It appears not to be a carbon-based life form, and it confuses the scientist Ash, and there's just a lot of mystery surrounding the ship that it came out of, and at the time there was just no background information given on where this planet was, or what the ship was that the alien was on, or how it got there, and that really works well into the theme of a horror suspense movie that this is. And that's a big thing. It's a suspense thriller. So don't think, oh, it's going to be full of jump scares, which there might be a couple. But it is a thriller. It's a psychological thriller. There's this omnipresent creature that only gets 4 minutes of screen time through the entire movie. And it's this impending threat that the crew needs to figure out how to deal with. Very, very well utilized, the alien. Like I said, only 4 minutes of screen time to bring that much horror to the viewers. And I think it's actually better to do psychological thrillers that way, where there's this more mystery about it, because the more it's on screen, the more you kind of get used to it and desensitized to it. So having it only at key times is very, very useful for creating this dramatic feeling, this almost tightness in your chest, this anxiety about it. And for the crew not knowing where it is, also that's more terrifying than kind of knowing where it's staying. So like I said, utilized very well. Now, for the design, H.R. Giger was kind of the perfect choice. Was very well known for his biomechanical stuff. If you've seen the game Scorn recently, it's based off of Giger stuff. So the ship design, the alien ship design, very well done. And it felt very biomechanical, which it was supposed to. But so did the alien. It looked like it had tubing at the end of the movie. It blends in with the ship components. Like, it felt engineered to hunt humans, which was kind of the goal, right? And if you follow the lore, you can there's a lot of hints of that on, like, we don't know if these are natural or if someone made them, or that's still an open question in the Alien franchise. And because of H.R. Giger set that precedent, it was just so well utilized, so well utilized, that general design philosophy. And going along with the design too, the ship felt very lived in, very like you would expect like a space trucker's place to be, like very low amenities and kind of dirty and worn and what you'd expect out of for a space trucker crew to live in. And on top of that, the characters just fit right in with that feel. They felt like they were a crew doing a job who'd been palling around with each other for a while and kind of knew each other, ribbing on each other and all this stuff. And the casting was just flawless. Like, everyone fit their role so well. I couldn't think of a better actor today to play most of the characters, if I'm being honest. Like, they just meshed so well. They worked really well together. You felt for them the majority of the time. And that brings me particularly to Ripley, who is essentially, the icon of the Alien franchise. And this kind of pioneered the way for a lot of women in sci-fi. Like, this is kind of the standard that you're trying to live up to for women in sci-fi. Because Ripley's just such a natural, well-written, strong character who just happens to be a woman. And it works so... because she's thrown into this. Sigourney Weaver's phenomenal in these movies. She just fits so well as a strong female lead. And at the beginning, you're not even sure if she's a lead. She's not the captain. She's not like the engine. She's just part of the crew. And ends up rising above the rest of them to the challenge. And going on to, be the icon of the original quadrilogy. And cementing herself as one of the most famous women in sci-fi in history. For good reason. She did such a good job. And this just goes down to say, like, everything about this movie is, from a cinematography standpoint, is very, very good. I think the only slightly jarring thing was a jump cut where Ash lets Kane in the ship and then immediately goes to cutting his helmet off. That felt a little jarring to me. I think that's literally... I've seen this movie no less than 250 times. And that's the only thing I can think of that's a bit jarring. That I might have changed a little bit, but it's also... I can understand why it's there. So, from a cinematography standpoint, the movie's nearly flawless. No, it may not be everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody likes the slow build, focusing on the human aspect, little action. But to me, for what it is, for being a horror suspense movie, focusing on that human aspect of how people are cracking under pressure and dealing with these different things, along with the fact that the camera angles, the scoring, the casting, the costuming, the design was just so on point to create this amazing atmosphere. There's a reason that this launched one of the most successful franchises in all of sci-fi. There's a reason that people clung to it. And it all started with this movie being that well done. Now, for that reason, it is one of the few things on my rating list that I have. I have a spreadsheet of all the Alien franchise, my rating for it, what year it took place, things of that nature, just for my sake to keep track of everything. And this is one of the few that's just 10 out of 10. There's a lot of like 9s, 9.5, and we'll get to those in due time. But this one gets my stamp as a 10 out of 10 because of its execution and design and casting and cinematography. I just wouldn't feel comfortable giving it anything less than 10. So that's my opinion on the first movie. This is the intro into the canon of the Alien franchise. And let me know what you think. Did I miss anything that you particularly liked? Do you think the movie doesn't deserve a 10? Just, let me know. I'm open to discussion, but as far as I'm concerned, this movie is 10 out of 10.